What is up, guys? Sergeant TNT here. We are back with another video, and I have recently gotten to a somewhat new free-to-play shooter called Dirty Bomb, which I named my shortcut to Derpy Bomb for some reason. The game is by Splash Damage, and I have a little over 10 hours into the game, so I think I can give you guys a proper review. Now, before I tell you guys some info on the game and my thoughts on the game, I would like to tell you that the graphics are way better than the gameplay shown, but the only way for me to get a constant 60 FPS and the game not lag on me is running a special config that keeps the game from straining my CPU and making the game lag, or else I would have it on cranked up graphics. But Unreal Engine's very CPU bound and blah 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 blah. So anyways, Dirty Bomb is a free-to-play multiplayer shooter that is set in a futuristic London. It's an open beta as of me recording this, and there are two teams, the attackers and the defenders, that complete objectives on various maps in 6v6, 7v7, or 8v8 games. There are 3 game modes: objective, where the attackers complete certain objectives and the defenders keep the attackers from doing so. Stopwatch is a variant of objective. The attackers have to complete the objectives as fast as possible. After they do so, the teams flip and the other team has to beat their time. And the last game mode is execution. If you're familiar with Counter-Strike, it's like Defusal. If you aren't familiar with Counter-Strike, basically the attackers have to place C4 on one of 2 objectives to win or kill the entire enemy team. It is played in rounds of 10 in Dirty Bomb. There is also a competitive mode in Dirty Bomb, which I don't have a whole lot of experience with. I played 1 match, got crushed. And no one was voice chatting, and it just felt like a casual game anyways. In Dirty Bomb, you can choose 3 mercs or mercenaries to go into battle with you, and they're like loadout cards. And you can switch between them using the F1, F2, and F3 keys at any time during the game. There are classes that can call in airstrikes, revive teammates, plant and defuse bombs faster, and many more classes. And like their specialties. And you can also open these little equipment cases that cost in-game currency. It's like 1,000. And you can get these cards that have random perks and a random loadout for a specific class. And the tiers from the worst to best are lead, which is an 80% chance, I believe. I don't remember the chances. So, lead gives you 1 random perk and a random loadout. Iron gives you 2 random perks and a random loadout. Bronze gives you 3 random perks and a random loadout. Silver gives you 3 random perks, random loadout, and a silver camo. Gold gives you 3 random perks, a random loadout, and a gold camo, and the rarest with like a 0.1% chance. It's like opening a knife in Counter-Strike. With 3 random perks, random loadout, and a blue cobalt camo on it. So like it's like this cobalt blue, and it looks really cool. I have 1 cobalt card, and I hate it because of how bad the loadout is. It's like this really weak submachine gun, and it does like nothing to the enemies, so I don't use it. But it's my first cobalt. And you also have to unlock the characters after you get the card. You can't use the cards until you buy the class, which most of the classes are 30,000, and then I think some of them are 50,000. And or you can unlock them with real money, which I think is like $5 or $10 or something like that to unlock a class. It's not worth it in my opinion. I like to just grind for the in-game currency, which isn't really hard to get. Splash Damage, the developers of Dirty Bomb, give out a free class every week for people to try. So like you can try a class for 1 week and then they change to a different class, and they just kind of go through that, which is nice because beginners might want to try out other classes and get a feel for other classes so they can justify what they want to get with the currency that they spent a couple hours on getting. And the gameplay combines the shooting mechanics from Counter-Strike, the classes from Team Fortress 2, the fast-paced action of Call of Duty, and some elements from another shooter by Splash Damage called Brink, which I've never played before. And the shooting doesn't require you to aim down sights, but you can if you would like. It's mainly used for longer range engagements, which I like because I'm an avid CSGO player. And I've adjusted to these kinds of gun mechanics, so it's pretty nice to have it kind of carry over in a way. Aiming is also pretty important because you deal a lot more damage with headshots. If you get a lot of body shots, it takes like a good half mag or more to kill them, and if you get headshots, it takes only a couple shots, just like Counter-Strike, really. Except the fact that most guns are like 3, like the weakest guns in Counter-Strike are like a 2 or 3 hit headshot, and stuff. I'm not going to get into that. The classes are decently balanced with a few exceptions, like the Nader needs a slight damage nerf just because occasionally in some of my matches I'll play and there'll just be that one Nader that just loves to just spam grenades everywhere and get pretty easy kills. I haven't used the Nader class yet because I just don't like it. It just feels too newbie. I haven't bothered unlocking it or even using it because it just feels newbie to me. And the action never stops in Dirty Bomb. There is action going on constantly. Your spawns will change based on what's going on, like with the objectives and stuff like that. So if they take the first objective, you don't spawn all the way at the back of the map, you spawn near that objective, or whatever. It keeps the action going. There is also a little bit of parkour in the game. I think that's what Brink had, but I'm not 100% sure. It's sadly limited to just a few wall jumps, which there are certain spots on the map that you can just wall jump getting on a crate and get to a part of the map that you couldn't otherwise. Which, I mean, is kind of cool, but they don't seem useful, really. They don't seem like it's worth doing most of the time. So I would like to see every class be able to do a bit more with like a parkourish kind of thing, like sliding and rolling, to make it a bit more interesting movement-wise, because I'm a big fan of movement in first-person shooters. So if it's going to have parkour in a game like that, it's got to have everything. If it just has one thing, then it kind of just feels off. And the objectives include planting C4, repairing an EV, delivering drugs, and a lot, well, I wouldn't say a lot more, and there's a few other things. What makes this game stand out from other shooters is it has many side objectives that you can do. So like you'll have the main objective and then you'll have like 2 or 3 side objectives that you can do that can unlock other parts of the map and help you get to the main objective a bit faster. And there are also missions that you can complete. There's like 3 missions that you can do, and once you complete them, then they come back every like 2 hours, 2.5 hours or something like that, and they give you in-game currency. Splash Damage is also updating the game quite often, adding new classes and maps to keep the game fresh. They have this one map called Dome that is a work in progress, basically. It's mostly gray and with a few textures, but for the most part, it's just the basic layout of the map and stuff like that. Which, so far, from what I've played of it, it's not bad. The layout's pretty good, in my opinion. Now I just gotta wait for all the textures and stuff to get on there. And, Splash Damage also did a great job on combining the best elements of Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, Call of Duty, and Brink. And the classes are decently balanced, like I said, keeps people from using one class and making the game have no variety. Kind of like in Battlefield and Call of Duty, where everyone only uses like one gun or a handful of guns because they're like really good and everyone can use them. So I like the fact that everyone's using like different classes and it keeps the game fresh. Like I haven't seen everyone just use this one class or anything like that. They seem to be doing a pretty good job on balancing those classes out. And The game looks great on maximum settings due to the Unreal Engine 3 having some pretty good graphics. I know there's an Unreal Engine 4, but this uses the third one instead. Another pro to Dirty Bomb is the game is not pay to win at all, in my opinion. It's more of just kind of grinding to get the in-game currency, which it isn't hard to do, really. You get a few hundred coins per match, and if you do missions, you can get up to 1,000 or more coins per match. And you can open any equipment cases in 1 or 2 matches and unlock a class in like a couple hours of playing, which is pretty good. It keeps you, like, you know, not getting too bored. And there are only a couple cons that I've seen in the past 10 hours that I've been playing. And there are a lack of game modes. There's only 3. If you count competitive, that's a 4th, but that's just stopwatch with like a ranking system to it, and it feels just like regular stopwatch with just a rank. It's not really competitive. It's just, there's nothing to make it stand out, really. Because I jumped into competitive thinking that, you know, there'd be more team communication, more try-harding, stuff like that. Nope, felt just like playing just regular game modes on a server, on the server browser or whatever. So that was kind of a letdown. And there are also a lack of maps. There's only 6 or 7 maps, which isn't too bad for it to be a beta game. But if they want to keep their player base, they need to be adding more maps. Train Yard and Dome are my favorites, and I also like Underground and Bridge. Those are some decently good maps. Those are decent maps, I should say. And there's also some explosive spam, like I was talking about. People use proxy mines and grenade launchers and stuff like that, and it gets kind of like just lots of explosions happening, and that gets kind of annoying, but that doesn't happen too often out of the, I don't know, maybe 20 or more games I've been playing. Probably no, way more than 20, probably almost 50. I've only had like 1 out of every 10 games have a bunch of nade spam, which I mean isn't too bad. And the nade spam doesn't even go on for that long because I don't know because I don't use a lot of the classes with explosives. But there's like a recharge on your power-ups. You can't just spam them everywhere. Like Skyhammer, that he calls in airstrikes, his airstrike has a recharge of 1:30, which so keeps people from spamming them like crazy. So it's not too bad, but it could be improved slightly. Some things I think they should add are more movement mechanics, more objectives, and more maps, and more game modes. Overall, I think you should give this game a try, and it's a game that I will probably be playing for a little while and doing YouTube videos on because I really like the game. It's got some huge potential. I hope they can make this one of the best free-to-play games out there on Steam. And out of my 10 hours of playing, I haven't even gotten close to being bored of the game yet. It's still pretty fun for me, but I probably will end up getting bored of it, taking a break, playing some more Counter-Strike, and then coming back to the game, seeing if they added anything new or interesting. But I think this is a pretty good game overall. I give it a 9 out of 10, to be honest. Pretty nice game, especially for a beta and especially for a free-to-play game, because I don't think it's pay to win. The classes are balanced and the random loadouts are balanced. Like, it's not really random, but it's more like you'll have like 3 different primaries for that class, and you'll get a random one of those 3 or whatever. That's an example. But anyways, guys, I will probably be doing more YouTube videos on Dirty Bomb. I'm really enjoying the game, like I said. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.